I am thinking about the difference between faith alone and faith and works, and the reasons why people would say works are necessary and what that really means. Because we have individual relationships with our God. This all ties into his individuality and our individual relationship with him, because none of us really knows who's saved. In your heart, God can reveal to you who he is, and you can believe in that and be saved, you as an individual, but not someone else. Not someone else. And should we even care about that, to the extent that we try to evaluate it and quantify or qualify, look at a person and say, well, yeah, I think they're justified. They met the standard. Because it's God's standard. So then becomes the question of what is God's standard? Is God's standard that of performance or that of faith? So the person of works says that without works, your faith is dead. So now how do you determine, and for what purposes do you determine if you have enough works? There must be a line somewhere. You do one good work and now you're good? And you can always just go back to that. Somebody questions you. Well, why would they question you in the first place? Who are you trying to prove this to? Who is demanding that you prove it to them? Why would they even try to, or why would they demand that you would prove it to them? You say you love God, and you know he loves you. There you go. Now a man comes in and says, okay, prove it. Show me something. Show me your works. Show me your works. And then it's totally subjective. So we get a denomination, or we just get some ruler or some leader, and he says, okay, here's the line, just get above that, and I'll call you justified. I'll declare you justified. No, that's not, it can't be how it works, because then it's man, because God never set a standard like that. The only standard he set was Jesus. And he didn't say do that. He said surrender to him. Surrender to your God and his perfection. Because when he came here as a man, that's what he did. He did everything perfectly. The point is that when you truly have faith in God, of his great love for you, it will manifest in works. So you might say, well, Mark, you're just saying the same thing that James is saying. I think more to the point is James didn't really have to say it, because it's going to happen anyway. The problem with it is it causes us to look at each other and qualify each other and gauge each other and judge each other and evaluate each other, or even ourselves, and see if we really care and we love and we have faith, instead of acknowledging that, well, you might be in a season where you are simply learning how to rest in the love of your God. Especially for someone who's been in religion, and you come out of religion, you may have been very active in that religion. And when you come out of it, there can be a huge decrease in activity, because for one thing, you lose your fellowship. And another thing is you are just learning how to rest in his love. You're learning that my God loves me. You get it intellectually, but to get it in your heart and to really rest in that as a way of living, you just live that way. That's a difficult thing to do once you've been trained up in religion, and always be busy, always be doing something, always be trying to please God, to show him how much you love him, to prove it so that people can say, wow, there's a good servant of God. And your tendency is always to want to do something, or I'm not doing something, to feel bad about not doing something. So there'll be a period of inactivity, and a person who is saying you got no faith if you got no works will just look at that and say, well, there you go. No faith is simply a season you're going through. And it doesn't matter anyway, because I'm not here, you're not here, none of us is here to prove our faith in God to another human being. We're not even here to prove it to him. We either have it or we don't. He doesn't beat us over the head because we don't have faith in him. He just offers his love. He puts it there. I love you. I accept you. You're my child. To many of them that believed on his name gave he power to become the sons of God, the children of God. You have faith in his name and who he is. Jesus Christ, he is God. If you have faith in him, then you receive it. You become his child. If you don't, you don't. It's a simple thing. But there's nothing in the world that requires, I mean, there are things in the world that require by their own standards, but there's nothing God says that you need to do this to prove to me and to prove to your fellow congregants and your pastor and your denomination so you can get your certificate of this, that, and the other. No, that's not how it works. Sure, that might result in some phonies. Big deal. Big deal. He said he was going to separate the wheat and the tares anyway at the end. So we have faith or we don't have faith. That's between us as individuals and our individual God. So that's the problem I have. Just to sum it up with the proving your faith through works, it by design in a way or causatively, it makes for a situation where we're all checking ourselves and each other to see if we have enough faith according to our works. Instead of just giving ourselves and each other a break and saying, well, hey, maybe that person is going through a test of their faith and they're really discovering who their God is. And so they're learning how to rest in his love. And they need to back off from all these activities for a while and just give them a break and let them find that. Let us all find that one-on-one with our God. And then we can all come back to it together and do a lot more because we'll be doing it led of the Spirit as opposed to being led by the church and man in his ways.